Hello and welcome to Room for Change. I'm Joanne Liebler. Today we are going to make some big changes inside this 1980s home. Although it's fairly new, it could use a little updating. So we're going to create new looks in two rooms, and just as important, we're going to improve their functionality. We'll start in the living room. This room explodes with deep color, but that's part of the problem. The dark plum color of these walls is oppressive. Now the homeowner likes the color, but not to this extent. Also, the room is small and oddly shaped, making it difficult to create a furniture layout that works well. We will change it by lightening up the walls and replacing the furniture to open up the traffic flow without sacrificing the room's purpose, a space to gather with family and friends. We'll keep the color scheme the same, but use it a little more sparingly in the room's accents. Then we'll move to the master bedroom. This room, though not bad, falls under the category of mediocre. So we are going to liven it up with more color. And we're going to give the room a new look by adding more interesting pieces and creating an eclectic style. We will have all of that, plus designer tips, so stick with us. Welcome. Today we're working in a home that was built in the 1980s. A nice thing about relatively new construction, you have all the modern conveniences. But the decor in this house could use a little updating. That's what we're going to take care of, and let's take a look at our first room. It's a living room, and as you can see, the dark purple color in this space is overbearing and claustrophobic. The oversized sofa doesn't fit well in the space and actually turns the flow of traffic into a traffic jam. The room is ready for change, and we have just the person to change it. Julianne Siegel, hi.
Hi, Joanne. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you as well. Julianne is with a company called Metropolitan Interiors, and
Right.
What do you have in mind for this living room?
Well, Joanne, I really want to take and make this a much softer room. We're going to change it into soft contemporary room by the use of softer fabrics, rounded edges on the furniture, and a nice neutral palette for the wall to highlight the art. The wall actually has a speckled finish, but even though it has some texture to it, it is a very neutral color for all the art and accessories we're going to use.
Well, it's a big difference than all that purple, isn't it?
That's right.
Well, let's get started.
Okay.
All right. First things first, we pull out all the existing furniture and prepare ourselves for a new beginning. The easiest way to brighten up the room is with a lighter colored paint. From a distance, this looks like an off-white color. But look closer and you'll see it's actually a faux finish with flecks of taupe in it. A faux finish like this adds more interest without becoming too overbearing. Next, we add a valance over the top of the window. This unique valance adds to the contemporary look with its tubular shape. Its upholstered finish in lavender works towards the color scheme of this room. Next, we added the most important piece, the sofa. The curvaceous lines of this sectional give the room a feeling of relaxation and unpretentiousness, perfect for making anyone feel comfortable. The fabric is black and taupe tweed, and the darker tones of this piece contrast with the lighter walls and add visual interest. It stands out more than a white or off-white sofa would. The size and shape of this piece fit perfectly in the corner of the space and help to open up the flow and use of the room. In the corner, we place a chair. The chair does more than just provide additional seating. It also supports our color scheme. Now it's time for a couple of tables. Between the chair and sofa, we've placed a small metal table with a glass top. A larger occasional table graces the front of the sofa. This one also features a glass top and metal frame. These two pieces provide surfaces for display, but their glass tops keep them from becoming too heavy. Next, we'll add some secondary pieces. This lamp, with its strong uplighting, will fill the room with soft, diffused light. The dark patina finish and gold highlights are definitely contemporary in design. The pedestal makes a bold statement with its angular shape and bright metallic finish. This room is starting to come together, Julianne. Now, I have a question about this cornice because it's unusual. It doesn't look like the type of thing that you could just run down to your local decorating center and just pick up like that.
No, it had to be custom made. The unique thing about it is that it is round, and we used PVC tubing, which is the same thing you use in plumbing.
Right.
Add a beautiful fabric, whatever works for the room, and add a contrast swell at the end.
Now, what about the blinds? How are they configured in that?
Actually, that is attached to the inside of the cornice rather than the window, so that's a unique way to do that as well.
Well, that's a great, clever treatment. And the nice thing is that PVC pipe is inexpensive, so is foam. So unless you have a Cadillac taste in fabric, you know, it could be inexpensive.
Right.
Let's get the room together, huh?
Okay.
All right. The furniture provides the structure of the room. Now we're going to fill in the smaller touches that will give this room some life. That means adding some art pieces. Above the sofa, we've hung this large print. It carries shades of purple, blue, and gold to augment the color scheme we've established. A mirror opens up this corner and seems to expand the space. The metallic frame is in keeping with the other metallic finishes in the room. Now, how about some greenery? And finally, we add the rest of our accessories. Sure looks different after those dark walls and everything. It looks great in here.
It really opened it up.
Yeah. Now, you had mentioned earlier that you were going to use the soft contemporary style of decorating in here. What does that mean exactly?
Well, there's soft contemporary and there's hard contemporary. And like this pedestal over here, that has more hard lines. Well, when you do soft contemporary, you want to use a softer, rounded, cornered furniture.
I gotcha.
And mix the different materials, such as a soft chenille and a tweed chenille. And then you could also mix in with smooth fabrics like that. So you also want to add accessories and really give warmth to the space to add a soft contemporary look.
Right, so something in all those severe angles is more the hard contemporary. And here we have it soft.
Exactly. You want to relax, and most people are much more attuned and like the soft contemporary more than the hard contemporary.
Well,
it's
I think
easier
I can understand.
to live in.
Yeah, all right. Well, good job.
Thank you.
And we want you to stay tuned because in just a few minutes we're going to head upstairs to the master bedroom and give that room a makeover. But before we do that, let's take another look at the transformation of this room. This room started out heavy with color with its plum-colored walls. The sofa was too large for the space, and the dark teal color didn't work very well. It was our job to open it up with more light and space. We did that by making the walls lighter and adding smaller, better-fitting pieces of furniture. See how this sectional sofa fits so much better than the other one? We used a similar color scheme, but much more sparingly, which keeps the room lighter and more open, but with the visual interest of color. Welcome back. We just finished giving a wonderful soft contemporary look to a living room in this house that was built in the 1980s. Now we are going to tackle the master bedroom. Let's take a look. This room is done in a contemporary style, and there are some soft touches with the overstuffed chair and the down comforter. The color scheme, however, seems a little dated. The turquoise and mauve tones were popular years ago, but now seem a bit passé. In other words, this room is ready for change. And Julianne, what do you have in mind this time?
Well, we're going to use a little bit of soft contemporary, but we're also going to use a lot of other styles. For example, this is soft contemporary right here. And this piece is very traditional, but I'm going to show how to mix these two different styles and several other styles with that to create a very eclectic look. Also to create your own personal style.
Now what about the color scheme? That's history, right?
Right. We'll use a little bit of those colors, but we're going to have a whole fresh new color palette with it.
Great. Let's do it.
Okay.
We start in this room by removing all the furniture and wall hangings. Now we can start making our changes. The first change is a dramatic one. We're going with an olive color below the molding that goes around the room and a teal above. The green adds depth to the space, and although it falls in the category of cool colors, it has a warming effect on the space and makes it more inviting. Above the molding, we've applied a complementary pale teal. This adds visual interest as well and helps differentiate the spaces above and below the molding. The aqua blinds no longer work with the room's color scheme, so we'll replace those with new window treatments. Cornices along the top of each window add substance. The contemporary pattern and shape keep it well grounded in the modern, and the colors add to our established palette. Cream-colored sheers over the windows soften incoming light and add privacy. With the windows and walls taken care of, we can bring in the furniture. We're going to start with an antique wardrobe. This piece is from the 1880s and features beautifully detailed craftsmanship. The piece is striking enough to design the whole room around. Ornate carvings crown the top of the piece, and delicate roses adorn the doors. The bed is next, and we're going with an iron bed for this room. The detail in the ironwork gives it a traditional look, but the fabric panel on the headboard adds a contemporary element. Together, these help support our eclectic design. We've chosen bedding light in color and simple in design. We flank each side of the bed with a pair of nightstands, and along the wall place a matching dresser. These pieces are all made of natural cherry wood in a mission style. Variation in the shades of the wood create an interesting mix of colors. The mission style is associated with the arts and crafts movement of the early 20th century, but their more rounded, sleeker lines definitely make them part of the 21st century. We want this bedroom to be a place to linger, so we've arranged this sitting area next to the window, a wonderful place to enjoy the day's first cup of coffee and look out over the garden below. The table is a glass-topped end table with metal legs in a patina finish similar to the finish on the bed. The armchair invites you to sink into its cushions with a good novel. The white chenille upholstery provides a nice contrast with the olive and teal colors in the room. With the larger pieces in place, we can start dressing the room with accent pieces, like lighting and wall hangings. This floor lamp will illuminate this area, as well as fulfill the role of an art piece. The metalwork displays beautiful scrollwork and a verdigris finish. Above the dresser, we've hung a large print. The print reflects the colors of the room, and it also adds a soft human element. On top of each nightstand, we place a palm print. And above the bed hangs a row of carved wooden tiles. Finally, we add the smaller accessories. That brings us to the end of this makeover. I really like how these colors work in here. And in terms of this eclectic look, yeah, you got a real mix of pieces going on, don't you?
That's right. This is mission furniture, and it's very simple. And we've mixed it with a piece from the 1800s, which has a lot of detail on it. And that, coupled with the wood tone, brings it all together. They really complement each other.
Right. You know, the other thing I noticed, it seems like there's more space in here. The traffic flow seems better.
Right, it is. We used a little bit smaller bed, and then we had our seating over behind you, which we moved to an area over here, which there were no pieces there before.
Right, and there's plenty of room there.
Exactly, so we were able to make a nicer seating area over there and give more space to the room.
In other words, we got more functionality.
Right.
Good job. Well, thank you so much. And we want you to stay tuned because in just a few short moments, we are going to get some designer tips from Julianne. But before we do that, let's take another look at the transformation of this master bedroom. We started with a master bedroom that was in need of some updating. The homeowner wanted to add more richness and depth to the space and make it more inviting. We did just that by adding color and redesigning the room, this time in an eclectic style. The sitting area makes this space one that you won't be anxious to leave. At this point in our program, all of you get the benefit of designer tips. And Julianne Siegel is with me today. And Julianne, you are going to give us all a lesson on feng shui, correct?
Right, Joanne.
Well, I said it right.
You said
That's
it right,
my first
good.
step. Okay. Explain what it is.
Well, Joanne, feng shui is the Chinese practice of placement to create harmony and balance in one's life. You do that, you could do that in any space, room, office, or house, and we've worked on it within this house, and particularly this room and the bedroom.
Okay. Now, it has something to do with energy, correct?
Right. The word for energy in Chinese is qi, so we work a lot with the energy. For example, this space is very important to keep open and not a lot of clutter in the space so that you're not blocking the energy, so it can move freely around things.
Okay, so let's just say if you had an occasional chair sort of right here, sort of near that sculpture, that would be a blockade, and that would be blocking the energy.
It would block the energy, so it's nice to have some open space and freer to move around.
All right. Now, what are some of the other tenets of feng shui?
Okay, for example, in this room, we've used the mirror here, and how that relates is we've used the bagua, which is used in feng shui a lot. If you look at this and think of it like a graph that is laid over the room, or a chart, a map, you would enter the room from this area here.
So that's the entry. So these are the arenas of life as you enter the room.
Coming in knowledge and career. We've placed a mirror in helpful people, which is right here. Every one of these areas is attached to a color. For example, helpful people is the color of gray. So you might want to use something gray in the space, like we've used this mirror. The rim around it is gray. So when placing it with the intention of bringing helpful people into your life, it can be very powerful, and that's why we've done that.
Well, it's also very pretty too, isn't it?
Yes.
All right. What are some of the other ways that feng shui has been used in this room?
Well, one other way here is the use of this piece of art. It has a lot of energy and creativity to it, but we've used it in the area, as you look at the bagua, for fame and reputation. And because it's so rich looking, you can really enhance those areas of your life. The color for this area is red, and instead of having a true red, we have used a form of red like burgundy.
Okay, I suppose all that metallic coloring, the golds and the bronzes, sort of conjures up the image of money as well.
That does, so that could help as well. But really, the area for wealth would be into this left back corner. And the color for that is purple. Although we don't have anything purple there, we have a statue. And a statue really is a symbol of strength and wealth as well.
Now, are there other elements of feng shui that you've used throughout the house?
Yes, one way is to use bamboo sticks, and I've used them down here in the living room as well as the bedroom. Bamboo sticks bring security into your life, strength. They're just a really nice uplifting image. and they can really help to ground you in your life.
Right, sort of like
So the
strong spears that are protecting you or something.
Exactly.
Okay.
Another aspect would be the use of the waterfall. Water is also an image for bringing in more wealth in your life. And wealth doesn't always have to be financial wealth. It could be any kind of wealth that you want to bring in your life. And also the sound of the water is very soothing and creates a nice energy to the room just hearing that.
I was just going to say, the sound of that running water is so peaceful. It really is soothing. Just puts you right to sleep.
Right.
All right. Well, this has been a great education. Thank you so much. And we want you to stay tuned, because when we come back, we're going to discuss our favorites. If you have questions or comments, please write to Room for Change, in care of HGTV, Box 50970, Knoxville, Tennessee 37950. And be sure to include the episode number and your daytime phone number. Today we came into a home that was built during the 1980s, and even though this home was relatively new construction and had all the modern amenities, it needed some updating in its decor, and that's just what we did, right here in the living room and also in the master bedroom. And Julianne Siegel, you just did a fabulous job in here.
Thank you, Joanne.
You know, I have a question though about this tree. It's almost like a sculpture behind me. Can you elaborate a little bit about that?
Sure. My client actually went out to the woods and picked wonderful birch tree branches and set them up herself, and we decided to use it for these wonderful collection of little bird houses. You can see here's one that's really cute. It's actually made out of mushrooms.
A real mushroom?
Real mushrooms.
Wow.
So she has this collection, and it's a wonderful way to use a tree as collections rather than your basic curio cabinet.
Right.
And we've actually enhanced it by using the little twinkle lights and some ribbon that we've woven throughout the tree branches.
It's almost like a piece of art, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, fun way to display your collection. Good idea. And did you have any favorites that you brought to this house?
Yes, I think my favorite is the piece of art that's right behind you, and the sculpture, the bronze sculpture that's with it, how the two work together and the energy and pizzazz it brings to the room.
Well, and I like the colors you selected for the master bedroom, because they used to have that pink and white.
Right.
And that was looking a little dated, but then you had that subtle green and blue, and it just complements the woodwork.
It.
Yeah, softens it, makes it look more sophisticated and more current.
Exactly.
All right, well, thanks so much for being on the show. And that is Julianne Siegel. She's with a company called Metropolitan Interiors. And at this point, we like to remind you to look around your own house. Why? You just might have a room for change. I'm Joanne Liebler. Thanks for watching.